Right. Hey guys, I've got a lot of gun cleaning to do, but before I get too dug into cleaning, I wanted to show you guys a gift I got somebody. It's a new product, at least to me. I don't know how long they've been out, but the Magpul MOE 1911 grip panels. I had a chance in the shop to open them up and play with them a bit. These ones are in gray. Let me unbox these for you. They seem like a pretty high quality piece of kit, given they were only $16, which is a steal for 1911 grips. You can see they're plastic, kind of like that same Magpul polymer they use. There's some webbing underneath. It's very smooth, and everything's very level. And the surface, this is just kind of a modelly grippy texture you can probably see in the light, but then it has sort of a checkering pattern, kind of like that that diamond plate pattern, but very small, very grippy. And the grips themselves are pretty thin. So what I'm going to do is I've got here the two 1911s I have here at the house. This is my SIG 1911F Nightmare, which I've talked about before. These are the factory SIG grips. It's got a fastback cut, so I can't put these grips on this gun because, I mean, I could, but it wouldn't quite match up and you'd end up with a burr on the back. So I don't have a really super great platform to put these on, but just so you can see the quality comparison, the stock SIG grips with the fastback cuts, they're well rounded on the bottom. I think these are G10. They feel like G10. They've got a nice checkering, nice diamond material. I'll say right off the bat, the thumb part of this is pretty slippy, but the grippy part is just as grippy as this pretty fine checkering. So that's something to consider. Also, you notice my factory SIG grips don't have a thumb cut out. Flip side, a much more similar pattern. You notice that the SIG grips are kind of an oval curve, whereas these 1911 grips from Magpul have kind of a diamondy curve. So I'm curious to see how they'll feel. These grips did not come on this Rock Island Armory lower. The Rock Island ones, the ones that the Rock Island came with, are very cheap and just thermoplastic feeling. They're pretty bad feeling, greasy kind of feeling, you know. These are very expensive G10 grips. I think by the end of it, these G10 grips with these fancy pedal screws were close to $80 or $85, which was about 20% of the price of the gun. So quite a substantial investment just in the grips. But the grips that the Rock Island came with were too fat for my now wife's hands, so we need to get her something slimmer. These are very thin grips. These are the thinnest grips that they made. So I'll take some of these grip panels off and we can compare them with the Magpuls and measure them too. Oh, before I take this screw off, let's go ahead and measure it. This is my set of calipers. I've got a Hornady O-Drive comparator. So if it's over an inch, which it is, we should be able to measure it. Right there. So right by that midpoint. Let's tighten it down. Wrong way. So on average or so, these grips are going to be 1.145 inches for these very thin, slim grips. And they feel very thin. Like it feels, you know, this feels very ergonomic, very rounded in the hand. It fills my hand very well. This feels almost like you're holding a 2x4 or a plank of wood. It's so skinny. I mean, it's much thinner. I mean, in comparison, remember 1.485 inches for the slim grips. In comparison, the SIG grips are at 1.266 inches. So over a tenth of an inch. Over a tenth of an inch difference, which makes a huge difference in the hand. So let's go ahead and take these screws out. And in fact, I might take these screws out and give my father these G10 grips. Because these are, like I said, these are nice grips. It depends on what Brittany thinks about these Magpul ones. The Magpul ones I got, they only had gray, which I think is okay. Even on a black gun, the gray ones are such a dark gray that I think they look really well. They look really good. Go ahead and take these fancy screws off. And slide this up. Up, 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 up. There we go. Come on. Come on. There we go. There you go. VZ grips. Black G10. You can see side by side. Let me see if I can line this up to the camera right. Maybe you can just fish the tail and see it. Pretty thin. In the comparison, you can tell right off the bat the Magpul grips are much thicker, much beefier grips, which could be a good thing. They still have the thumb cut out. In fact, they have a larger thumb cut out, so that might feel better in the hands. Let's try to get it started a little bit. I'm only going to barely tighten these guys down, just so I can feel them. Now I noticed when I was tightening these down, there was a bit of a curve, but it seems like you can tighten them down a little bit. It just went right away. Okay, so let's do the other side. If you haven't seen this before, this is my Mech-Tech CCU. It's chambered in 460 Roland, and it's designed as a plinking rifle, but on the downsides, I bought it because you could shoot with 460 Roland, which is quite a powerhouse load, and also 45 ACP, but the downside is you can only shoot 45 ACP if you shoot 45 ACP between cleanings. Otherwise, you can only shoot 460 Roland because the brass dimensions are slightly different. And that's not the worst thing, but 460 Roland is not free, and I had to make my own ammo for it. Or just the tensioning thing. Okay, so let's see how they feel. They do feel, they're definitely grippy on the back. They're grippy on the fingerprints, the bottom fingers. They're definitely fatter grips, and I definitely like them better because they're definitely a more well-rounded grip. They're not too fat, they're not too skinny. I guess they're an average ergonomic grip. They do feel a hair bit small. But that being said, I've got monster hands. I'm over 6 feet tall, and I've got long arms, and I've got pretty darn big hands. You see this tiny ring on my finger. I'm pretty sure this ring is a size 12 and a half. Size is deceptive. Big palm hands. So my hands, they're a little bit narrow. The Padre has narrower hands, smaller hands. It might do better for him. Probably a better metric of hand size. I'm a 2XL glove size. So there you go. If you're considering them, I would say quality-wise, I don't think you're really giving up anything going with the Magpul MOE grips over, say, these $80 G10 grips from VZ Grips. So definitely consider buying them. Especially if you have normal hands, then doubly definitely consider buying them.